All right, continuing with Chapter 7, Section 7, I'm going to start with Paragraph 7. How cool is that? One child of God is the only teacher sufficiently worthy to teach another. One teacher is in all minds, and he teaches the same lessons to all. Same lesson, single lesson to all. So the one teacher, remember, is the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is in all minds, and all minds are one holon. We're back in this holon thing, all right? So the one child of God is all of us, right? The only teacher worthy. And the one teacher, the Holy Spirit, is maybe not so different from all of us, huh? All right. And then I'm going to use the Holy Spirit always teaches you the inestimable worth of every son of God, teaching it with infinite patience, born of the infinite love for which the Holy Spirit speaks. And the Holy Spirit's also called the voice for God, yeah? So now we get an interesting concept. Every attack is a call for the Holy Spirit's patience, since the Holy Spirit can translate attack into blessing. Okay, so every time we're inclined to attack, we're asking for the Holy Spirit's patience, and we're asking for the Holy Spirit to translate this into a blessing, because that's love. We are love, and truly all we want to do is love. Yeah? And every time we feel attacked, we're also calling for that patience to translate this experience into a blessing. That's what it's saying. Okay, then it says, those who attack do not know they are blessed. They attack because they believe they are deprived. Okay, so if I believe I am deprived, I'm not going to offer you a blessing. I'm going to say something or do something that I think will give me what I feel I'm deprived. You know, Emma talks about this in lesson 2, I think. No, in lesson 1, where she's saying God's good is everywhere and everyone's going for that good. Everyone believes they are separated from their good, and so they're all reaching for it however they can. That's what we're talking about here. Check this. Okay. Making sure that camera's doing okay. All right. So then it says, they attack because they believe they're deprived. Give, therefore, of your abundance and teach your brothers there. Do not share their illusions of scarcity, or you will perceive yourself as lacking. The more you work with the homeless, the more you work with the hungry, the more you work with the people who are lacking, the more you will feel lacking. This is why in my little book, Spiritual Success, I say true service is never to fill a need. It's always, as it says here, give of your abundance and teach people theirs. Show them how they are abundant. Don't teach them they are ignorant. Teach them they are wise. I don't need to go into details. You've got the picture. All right. Next paragraph. Attack could never promote attack unless you perceived it as a means of depriving you of something you want. All right. So someone comes at me, they do something I perceive as attack. The only way I would experience that as attack, and the only reason I would attack back, is if I think they're going to take something that I want. That's the only way, right? That's what that whole thing about revenge and all of that is about. Or protection. I got to have a gun to protect myself because they're going to deprive me of something. No. And so let's keep going with it. Because, next sentence, yet you cannot lose anything unless you do not value it and therefore do not want it. You can't lose a job unless you're ready to leave it. You can't lose a handbag unless you have given up something, a bag of, or a computer or a wallet or a whatever, unless you are ready to say, I'm done with whatever that stands for in your life. You can't lose anything unless you do not value it and therefore do not want it. Okay, then this makes you feel deprived of it, and by projecting your own rejection, you then believe others are taking it from you. Okay, you think you still want it. So then you say, oh, they're taking it from me, rather than saying, oh, I was ready to let go of that anyway. I told a story the other day about a jacket that I had, my rain jacket. It had been given to me. It was bright, bright orange, and it was very dirty. And I gave it to the cleaners to clean and to waterproof because it was no longer doing its job here on the coast. You know, the hooded raincoat. Yep. And so there it was hanging on the rack, ready for me to pick up. We had set aside on the special, this is the ready to go rack. And the people and the cleaners were people I work with on other things, and we were having a lovely conversation. And while we were talking, this fabulous thing happened because they were also collecting coats for the cold. And so the guy came in to pick up the current batch of coats for the cold, and that was marvelous. And when we looked up from our conversation, my jacket had gone out the door with the coats for the cold. And they got all concerned. Oh, no, 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 we've lost your coat. Oh, no, this is terrible. I said, let it go. Let it go. I really was ready not to be wearing that coat. And I realized in that very moment, I was ready, really ready not to have to wear that jacket anymore. Bright orange. No, not really me, right? So I believe it was the very next trip into Portland. Someone said, oh, I've been going through my closet and I have this lovely rain jacket. It's in purple. Do you want it? Well, of course, as you all know, purple is very much what I want. So that worked out perfectly. And now it's getting pretty bedraggled, so maybe something else will happen. I think I'll try to make it more intentional this time, though. All right. So you must be fearful if you believe that your brother is attacking you to tear the kingdom of heaven, your idea of good, from you. If you believe that anyone would try to take that from you, that's a lot of fear, isn't it? That's all it's saying. And it says this fear is the ultimate basis for all the ego's projection. This belief that it's possible to deprive me of the kingdom of heaven and that someone else is going to do that. Let's look at how it says how that happens in the next paragraph. Being the part of your mind that does not believe it is responsible for itself, right? Ego's always blaming something else. And being without allegiance to God, right? It's in fact trying to say, no, I'm not involved with God. God's out there. I'm not part of that, right? The ego is incapable of trust, projecting its insane belief that you have been treacherous to your Creator, right? I'm not part of God. God's out there. It believes that your brothers, who are as incapable of rejecting their Creator as you are out to take God from you, are out to take good, the kingdom, everything that you love, everything that you value from you. And that's what the ego has been doing. That's why the ego has said some people are not okay. Whenever a brother attacks another, that is what he believes. And you can see it over and over again, right? Projection always sees your wishes in others. If you choose to separate yourself from God, then this is what you will think others are doing to you. Over and over and over again until we learn otherwise. Won't that be nice? All right, so now in the next paragraph it says, you are the will of God. Do not accept anything else as your will, or you are denying what you are. So don't accept that so-and-so made me do it. Don't accept that I learned how to do this when I was a kid. I can't help it. Don't accept that I'm a victim of my past programming, whatever it is. Don't accept that illness is a reality. We can't afford to. We are everything that God is. As soon as we say that someone else or something else made us do or be something, we're denying our truth of ourself. Okay, so and here is what it says: deny this, deny who and what you are, and you will attack, believing you have been attacked. And that's where attack and defense comes from. But see the love of God in you, and that's the lesson we were doing this week. the love of God in you, and you will see it everywhere because it is everywhere. And I know some of you have been experiencing that. You've been experiencing that internal love, and you've been seeing it more and more around you. See God's abundance in everyone, and you will know that you are in God with them, that you are totally abundantly supplied with them. All of us have plenty. They are part of you and you are part of God. That totality, that whole on, it's all one. You cannot separate them. If God is abundant, if God is loving, it all is. Every aspect of the kingdom, every aspect of humanity, every aspect of the sonship, every aspect of our being, everything. Isn't that marvelous? I think it's just fabulous. All right. Then it says, you are as lonely without understanding this as God himself is lonely when his sons do not know him. You feel as if you are a single entity. All right. And that's apparently, according to the Course, an experience that God is capable of having. I didn't know that. I find it hard to believe, but that's okay. It was a little bit of a guilt trip, perhaps. All right. The peace of God is understanding this, and this should be a colon. The peace of God is understanding this colon. There is only one way out of the world's thinking, just as there was only one way into it. I can experience the full peace of all that is, realizing there's just one thing, one way out, one way in. Understand totally by understanding totality. There is one entity, one beingness, one sun, one power, one presence. It all is. We are it. And it is us. Ooh, that's so cool. Last paragraph of this section. Perceive any part of the ego's thought system as wholly insane, wholly delusional, and wholly undesirable, and you have correctly evaluated all of it. So as soon as you say, wow, that was ridiculous to project that into that situation, or wow, that's an illusion, you've begun to untangle the whole thing. You've rejected the construct, and you're allowing yourself to do something. The next sentence. This correction enables you to perceive any part of, capital C, creation as wholly real, capital R, wholly perfect, and wholly desirable. The moment you say, no, I'm not into the illusions today, you begin to experience the kingdom that is always here. Next sentence. Wanting this, the kingdom, the creation, the reality, wanting this only, you will have this only. There's a beautiful illustration of this in Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. There's a point where he meets a woman who is known as the mother, the bliss mother, because all she experiences is bliss. And sometimes she comes out of trance enough to interact with people, but she can't stay out here very long and she goes back in. But even when she's out here, she's only experiencing bliss. It's so cool. Yeah, the description is delightful. You'll enjoy that. All right. And then it says, and giving this only, you will be only this, okay? It's in the giving, in the extending that we discover who and what we are. So the more we give of the qualities of the divine, the more we experience ourselves as the qualities of the divine. The gifts you offer to the ego are always experienced as sacrifices. So, the ego is into there's stuff and it's decreased or, I'm deprived of it. But then it says the next, but the gifts you offer to the kingdom are gifts to you. You're giving it to the whole on. You can't separate it, right? All right. They will always be treasured by divinity. You value them as gifts. Therefore, the source values of them as gifts. You can't separate them. It's all one hola. They belong to his beloved extensions, his sons, who belong to him. Us. We all are one holon. The infinite all that is one, of which we are part, as one, integrated together as one. All power and all glory are yours, because the kingdom is his. That is to say, because the totality of the source, the Son, and the Spirit are all totally interwoven, and you cannot do anything without affecting all of it. Thanks so much. We'll talk again soon. I look forward to it.